Well, thank you, momentary substitute chair. Thank you, actual chair, Senator Wicker, and of course, Ranking Member Reed, holding, of course, really important hearing. I want to thank Admiral Paparo, General Brunson, for your service, for your support and your care and everything that you do. Thank you, thank you. So I want to talk a little bit about attacks on digital infrastructure by the PRC. So, Admiral, our growing concern about the vulnerability of Taiwan's digital infrastructure is highlighted by the frequent attempted sabotage of undersea internet cables. These events are part of a larger trend of gray zone operations where actions short of war, often involving non-military forces or proxies, are used to exert pressure or destabilize regions. The PRC's reckless, coercive, and aggressive activities pose a threat to democracies around the globe, and its sabotage of those undersea cables has emerged as a particularly alarming tactic. These cables are essential for our global communications, transmitting around 95% of global internet traffic. They facilitate financial transactions, bolster our security, the security of our partners and allies. Admiral, while some experts view incidents like the damage to Taiwan's undersea cables as merely a test or low-level enhancement, others warn they could be part of a broader Chinese strategy to prepare for future coercion or even invasion of Taiwan. So given this, what do you see as the actual threat these incidents pose to U.S. national security, and what steps is the U.S. taking to effectively counter these digital threats?
Senator Rosen, as ever, you're quite astute in identifying this threat. Most certainly, that's an element of the intention and an element of the design. They would do so likely with People Armed Forces Maritime Militia, which enables them to execute this operation without potentially signaling an intent to go to war, but by weakening the information enterprise of the states over whom they're executing aggression. And I think the first is that the ability to penetrate from an intelligence standpoint and to be there in the locations where they would be otherwise cutting those cables in order to deter that activity. Second of all is the resilience to have other redundant networks that enable those states and their partners, including the United States, Guam, Hawaii, and so forth, to achieve what we need to do in the information environment, and that's proliferation in low Earth orbit, and not just one single constellation, but multiple constellations.
Talk about how we can help Taiwan bolster its digital infrastructure. What do you think we can do to help them be sure?
Yeah, I think training them to be able to, I shouldn't say training them, but enabling them to build that resiliency that's required, that if we're unsuccessful in our efforts to thwart their cable cutting, that there are other spectra and other means for information technology, so they have the proper bandwidth to prioritize those functions that they have to within that bandwidth and latency that you get out of low Earth orbit, middle Earth orbit, among the many commercial constellations that are going into orbit.
Thank you. I'm going to talk a little bit about North Korean support to Russia, because we see a growing alliance between North Korea and Russia, particularly in the context of the ongoing war in Ukraine. It presents new challenges for us in the United States and, of course, for our allies. So we know North Korea providing troops and munitions to Russia, and the partnership has potential to fuel the conflict and challenge the global order. It raises concerns about the effectiveness of existing diplomatic strategies and economic sanctions. So to both of you, the partnership between North Korea and Russia poses a serious threat to global stability. So in each of your views, how should the U.S. respond to North Korea's military assistance to Russia? And what diplomatic or military strategies should we pursue to prevent further destabilization, not just there, but within the international community? So General, we'll start with you.
Right, Senator, one of the things that we have to do is what we're doing presently. We've got forces there on the peninsula that can impose cost on them. We also maintain lines to continue communication so that we might not have miscalculation in the region writ large, whether that be on the MDL or across the northern limit line in the West Sea. I think that we have to continue to try to communicate out, but make sure that we're always prepared in the event of a miscalculation.
Thank you. Adam?
Senator, hundreds of thousands of artillery shells, thousands of KN-24 missiles, and manpower is leaving North Korea with the intent of gaining a concession back. And so first, exposure in the international community is one, which is to not be shy about exposing this naked aggression, using all instruments of national power to impose costs on individuals to find, to build the deterrent from this activity. And then, as General Brunson has talked about earlier, being wary of what is coming back, and to be able to be in generations of overmatch with what's coming back, if it's submarine quieting, if it's air defense, if it's missile technology. And so, it's an area we need to work really hard.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yield back.
Thank you very much. Senator Banks.